Welcome to the wrap-up video for Rob Lane's square body C10 build. This is a truck that was pretty special to him, or is pretty special to him. This was his grandfather's truck, then it was his dad's truck. Rob acquired it back in like 2017 or so. So the first thing you'll notice about the truck is it's obviously on an airbag GSI chassis, big 24 by 15 inch built specialty wheels out back, matching set of 22 by 8.5s up front. Behind that is bare brakes that we like to use. It's the 14 inch 6-piston setup from them. Everything on the chassis is all powder coated and everything. But the outside of the truck, with the exception of being cut down by Kyle over at Metalox, is 100% the way it came. Actually, I think we replaced the Sierra Classic emblems because they were broken. But this is the paint, this is the way it's staying, this is the way his grandfather bought it. Well, I'm sure it was shinier when his grandfather bought it, but he didn't want to change the paint. So we're gonna leave the paint the way it is. So under the hood, we have a GM Performance LT4. So this is a supercharged LT4. Firewall was really badly rusted. We had to build an entire new firewall for this thing, and also a lot of the structure behind it. So the cowl and floorboards and the transmission tunnel have all been rebuilt. And then we've got a set of Hart Fab tubs in here. Built our own intake. These LTs, newer Gen 5 engines, are really picky on their mass air readings. So we always like to do a air box for them. So there's a little air box built there. And then other than that, it's just been plumbed and wired as clean as possible. We have our coolant reservoir for the heat exchanger to cool the air going through the supercharger. We mounted that up top so we don't have to do a bleeder or anything on it. So this cap is actually a vented cap. It works like a gas cap. So you can sit there and spin that thing forever and it's never going to tighten any more than that. We did all number 8, number 10 lines for the heat exchanger. We've got a Restomod AC bulkhead in there. Every time we do one of these videos, somebody asks about the brake master cylinder. This is an ABS Power Brakes master cylinder. So it's an electric over hydraulic booster mounted underneath the truck that feeds this master cylinder and applies the power assist via a 3/16 hardline. So it looks just like 3 brake lines coming off of there, but it's actually 2 brake lines and then 1 line coming from the electric booster that's mounted underneath the truck. Other than that, up here, we made a new panel for the radiator. We've got an Entropy radiator in there that we kind of just made the panel look about as factory as we can. I really wanted to powder coat this black, but Rob said no. Same thing with the underhood. It's all still unpainted, original. The grill's original. We had to fix a couple things in it to keep it secured. We did change out headlights and taillights for United Pacific units. So these are LED headlights, along with the taillights are their sequential taillights. But I think that's it under the hood. Obviously, Eye Candy Paintworks, Frank and those guys painted this after they body worked it for us. We have some Wham rods, gas assist struts for the hood, so the hood stays up nice, but it is on the factory hinges and it shuts just like an old truck. Everything on the outside of this truck is the way we got it. We did replace front and back glass. James over at State 48 put in new front windshield and back glass, of course with precision rubbers, and that's probably it for the general outside. We can look in the bed if you want. So just like a lot of our builds, we have basically an opening bed floor. We use the Dakota digital actuators to lift it. This one's on just a simple set of gate hinges because the floor actually dives down into itself in the front. But back here you can see the powder coated chassis that Brandon over at Pack Coast did for us. So GSI chassis, powder coated. I believe the blue is it's an Illusion blueberry, something like that. And then the other color is supposed to be a gloss, but we put a satin clear over it to kill some of the shine. Air tank is obviously an AccuAir VT, so valves are inside of it. We have the Viair 485 compressors, so these are their newest. And then the AccuAir ECU mounted right in the middle. We also have our tailgate latch kit in here, so that opens nice. Has the cables rather than the rattly old metal pieces, and it closed super nice. So no slamming it, no pushing on it to open. As you can see, it still has the Mississippi plates on it from 2017. Another thing you'll notice in the bed is these tubs. Obviously with the 24 by 15s, we had to widen the tubs quite a bit. So those are actually the factory tubs. We just stretched them and then basically cut the bottom off. So when we shortened, so Kyle did the bed sides, but we shortened the floor. When we shortened the floor, we did it all in the middle. So it made our opening for our wheel tub really small. So we're able to put this right where it needed to be while still having the lines run into it the same front and rear. So a lot of times you'll see like a flat section where the bed floor kind of stopped. That's where the opening used to be. On this one, since it was a long bed, the way we shrunk it, it allowed us to make that look nice and clean. And again, just like everything we do, try to hide everything in the frame well. You don't see any air lines, you don't see any wiring. We like to conceal as much as possible. Interior was done by Steve over at Elevated Design using a set of Snowden seats. We have Dakota digital gauges. We have Restomod AC mounted under here. The shifter we kind of talked about, but this is kind of a neat shifter. So if you put this thing down all the way, it goes into sport mode. Then you can tap it over, and then you can shift through the 8 speeds of the transmission. So you can upshift, downshift, and then you can put it back normal. We have a we have a retro sound radio. Just kind of looks like the factory radio, but gives you Bluetooth, USB, hands-free phone calls, that type of stuff. All the upper panels are stock. They've just been rewrapped. So sun visors have been rewrapped, headliner, all the upper pillars. We've got new retro belts in here, so new seat belts. And then Steve built this kind of, I guess you just call it a surround for the seat. We've got a sub behind here, an amp behind there, cool little center console with some storage. The door panels are factory. We just got rid of the pocket, and in place of the pocket we have a set of Morel 6.5s. Steering column is from I Did It. We've got a Built Specialties steering wheel there that Steve did a half wrap on. The gauges are Dakota Digital. They're the RTX series, so they've got the nice orange needles and stuff. They're meant to look like the factories as much as possible. And then the Restomod Air has a factory looking replacement as well. Other than that, I think that's it. End here, obviously custom center console, the carpet, it's kind of self-explanatory stuff. So because we didn't paint this truck, we couldn't shave this gas door, right? Because you open up the back to fill the gas tank. So instead of putting nothing here, we made it accessible for some jumper ports. So batteries are underneath the truck, kind of hard to get to. If the truck were to die with the thing on the ground, you wouldn't have any voltage to get the compressors to kick on and lift the truck. Or charge ports so that you can access giving your vehicle power without having to get 10 jacks up and jack up the truck a little bit at a time. All right, that's a wrap on this one. We've got a bunch more that we're wrapping up right now too, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave a comment, buy some shirts and hats. We'll see you on the next one. Later.